All right, so continue to record. So this might be a better example. Let's see if I can do this. Hold up. Let's try something. So you should be able to see my. Yeah. I'm gonna put this on mute because I'm getting some feedback. All right. If you have a question, feel free to speak in. If you're not, I'm just gonna put it on mute. So let me change this name around a bit. So I have this role. I put it just called it example role, but it might not be. All right. So it did ask me for some feedback. So okay, so just ask me some questions. Let me actually answer them so you guys can see that as well. So what task am I trying to complete? So it's like they're giving me a quiz. All right, so it's gonna be one of these two. So first one. So they asked me a question. What am I trying to do? A little bit of AI on their end. So I want to update a policy and permissions, which is actually what I'm going to do. And then what's the most important? Complete as quickly as possible. Yes, that's fine. And I think this one is the best answer. So I recommend when you watch the video to actually look at the feedback. So I created a role and I went to the role and it's new. And the system is smart enough to say, oh, okay, what is he doing? What is she doing? Whoever. And they're asking a question about it. So I want to actually answer. And I think it's useful for you to read through the questions just to see the kind of things that the system's trying to give you feedback on. This is new. They haven't been doing this, and they haven't been doing this everywhere. I can tell you that. I'm on the system almost every day. This is kind of new. And all right. So the two answers I gave were to understand the policies and permissions and ensuring that my actions are allowed by my organization's policies and guardrails. All right. Easy. I'll say it was, so far this is pretty easy. But I did this through a different way. So this is not the best answer. Yeah, this is actually pretty well defined. But what they're thinking, they think the system thinks, because there's an intelligence behind it, thinks that I created this the way I talked about it before. So what they think I did is that I went here and created a role. That's not what I did. What I did is I defined it and then I wrote out what I wanted. So like I said, there's multiple different ways of getting to a goal, of getting someplace. So they think I did one thing, but I did something else. So that's actually pretty interesting. So I created this, let's see. Okay, so if you look at this on the IAM service, so that's where I am, IAM, you'll see that the stuff that I wrote out, this right here, is the same thing that ends up online. So I typed something on my computer and I said to AWS, to the cloud, I said, I want you to create this. And then it's going to create it. I could have done it manually, but I decided to do it this way. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change. I'm going to do a very basic change. It's not even going to be that big of a deal. I'm going to call the role Batman, right? So Batman is a role. That somebody plays that. The guy's name is Robert Patterson. And I'm going to say, so right now the role name is example role. Right, so it's just a simple change, and simple changes are good because it shows you know how to control it. So a change doesn't have to be something big and complicated. So right now I said I added one, I changed nothing, because I created a new one, I destroyed nothing. So what should happen when I run it again, this should be 0, this should be 1 change, and this should be 0 destroyed. So let's try that out. So let me run this. There should be 1 change. Let's see. The name is example role. So you see here name plus name, example role, and example role here. So let's see what happens. Then I'll try and run through the rest, make sure we're still recording. Yeah, we're still recording. Everything's, I kind of understand where you guys are coming from. Everything's a little bit slow on my end too. All right, so okay, it did something differently. I thought it was going to do change one thing. So instead of, you notice this is red. So red means not something bad happening, but it means that's something you should really pay attention to. So looking through here, it says it changed from example role to Batman. And then it says it forced a replacement. So it means that instead of just changing one thing, they removed the entire thing and added something new, which is fine. Usually you try and change one thing. Because it's expensive. So it's like if you wanted a car and you want to change the color of the car, let's see, if you want to change, well, you usually change the entire car, the paint. So if you want to change the car from red to blue, right? Let's say you had a red car, you want to change to blue, you just get somebody to paint it over, right? Because it's cheaper than getting a whole new car. But some people, they have money like that, they would just get a whole new car. So what we did is got a whole new car, which is not what I wanted to do, but that's how it actually worked this time. Because this changed too. All right, so something very basic. Now, instead of example role, you have Batman, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something else because I want to show the other examples. Let's see if I can do this without, I'm going to leave this the same. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to add the other information. I'm going to add the information. Hopefully I have time to type all this. If I can't, then I'm going to do something else. So how do I want to do this? I might not have time to type all of it. So let me try. So I want to get to the end of it because it's something I want to show at the end. Let's come back. Let's do this. It's taking a long time to type it. All right, so I just did that. I made a change, and I'm going to try and test my change. I'm not going to completely add it. I'm going to add a small change, small in terms of how much I had to type versus how much it actually makes a difference. Okay, so 1 to add. Okay, so I made this 1 change. That's 1. Because I want to see if this is going to cause a problem. But sometimes they change some of the parts of the system because it's the cloud, they're updating it constantly. So I have this role name, this role, the name. This should all map to Batman. Okay. So I'm making small changes and then I'm testing. So instead of trying to change everything at once. And the whole point of it is just to show how you can connect a role to a resource. That's really the only thing I'm trying to do here. So if a role, it gives you rights, gives you permissions, gives you policies. So just like you have in the real world in English, you have policy. If you work, it doesn't matter if you go to school, if you're at work, in your house, a policy, government, doesn't matter. A policy tells you what is allowed and what is not allowed, what you're supposed to follow, right? Like rules. but like large rules. Like a rule might be one thing. You have like 20 rules, you make that a policy. All right. So that's what I'm trying to show. Like on the cloud, you have policies as well. All right. So this one's going to be interesting. I'm going to throw this one here because I'm not sure if this machine is still around or if this AMI is still around. So we might have to change this number here. We might have to change this number here. And you can look this up in, not even in CloudShare, you can log in and look up the AMI. So I just made another change. I added this. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 things I've created so far directly. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 things directly. All right, so 3 to add. So I created 3. I had one already. It says 3 to add. So 1 plus 3 is 4, right? So that's, and I don't have a bucket. Do I have a bucket? I don't have a bucket. So I'm going to create one. I need to create a bucket. And the bucket is going to be called example bucket because it has to match. So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go to another service, S3. And I'm going to create a bucket. Let's see. Let me delete this one. This one costs like, I think like a penny a month, if that. Yeah. Let me delete that. Delete it. So I'm cleaning up some stuff. It's not expensive. It's a penny a day. Um, you need like 1,000 of them for it to, like, that'll be what? 1,000 of them a day would be like what? $10? $10 a day, or $10 if I did a month, $10 a month. So let me delete, because they measure it by 1,000 kilobytes, and I think this one was only 100. So, but it's good to clean up stuff anyway that you don't use all the time. And all right, let's see if I can delete this one. Actually, yeah, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it because I'm going to change the name somewhere else. So I'm not going to create a bucket. I'm going to use one that's already existing. And I'm going to change these names around. So I created 4 things total, one that was already there, plus 3 more new ones. And so this should be 5 things I created directly. So right here, there's a bucket. So you heard me talk about policy. Policy is, let's see, it's a policy. So let me change this name. This is the bucket that I created. But I gotta change the name. I have a bucket here. So the name has to match. I have a bucket here. Change the name as well. Bucket here. Change the name as well. So right now, I'm creating a policy on the bucket. And remember, a bucket is where I can put files. And let's see. So let's see if this works. And one more thing. So there should be 4, maybe 5. No, 4. Should be 4. 4 things, 4 new things created. The 3, the 1 original, and then the 4 that I'm adding. So it says plan to add 3. So this should turn to 4 if there are no mistakes. Uh-oh. I was on mute. I apologize for that. But Rachel, is there anything that you want to add to the group? It's about 11:56. I'm deleting stuff that I created, just make sure nothing.
Do you mean that this whole time you were talking?
I don't know how long was I on mute.
You were on mute for a good 30 minutes
Holy cow.
since the last time I spoke.
Oh,
And I was like, I don't know if you told them to do something because there was no sound. But
okay.
Rigo, it looks like he's still here. Um, Maybe you can catch him up to speed on what you may have been doing there quickly.
Sure, sure, sure.
And
So
then
go ahead.
I'm gonna jump off, but what I'm going to do is I know you said you're gonna talk to him about the internet speed,
Right.
and then just we'll circle back and um if we can have a chance to chat like you mentioned early this morning about our plans for this quarter. Um, I don't know that today would be the best day
Right. Yeah, that's right.
for me,
Unfortunately, that's
but
right. Yeah, that's what I said. Um, Tuesday would be easier for me. And let me know what
okay,
works for you.
I will. I
Yeah,
will.
because
Let
I'm
me
actually working today, so that's
okay, gotcha. I will ping you because I'm traveling for work next week.
mm,
And
oh my
so
gosh.
I will ping you so we can fit in. Good news is that we're on the same time zone. So, but it'll be fine. We'll just figure out how to make that work. I'll ping you so we can coordinate that because if in the worst case scenario we don't get to meet next week, we will have to just do it the following week.
Sure. No, that's
Okay.
that
But
work.
just let me know how the conversation goes with Rigo as far as the internet situation and anything else. And I'm always available by email or text, or I mean not email, text message
Oh
or
yes.
call.
Yeah.
Regardless of, I just want to have a sit down, like we can have a set aside time to talk. But in between that, if you need to speak to me, just reach out. I will reach right back to you.
No, thank you, thank you. I'm
Okay.
hoping my audio.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
still. Go
I
ahead.
hope the audio on your side is working because you're recording, right?
Yeah, because I was still recording the entire time, so hopefully it's not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe you can do a quick voiceover in case you did lose the sound and then before you post the video.
Yeah, because I looked over, I was like, wait a second. For me, I was like, I think I was off, on mute for like a few minutes, but like you're right, it was like a half hour. So,
Yeah, because I
but
was
I,
watching the screen, but I'm like, I don't know, did he tell him to do an assignment? I should have just gotten off mute myself, but
oh my
um,
goodness, I should have kept my camera on so you can see my lips were moving, but nothing was coming from me. So,
that would have helped too,
yeah,
but I understand it's fine.
yeah.
We'll figure that out. But thank you, students. Thank you, Fritz. I am gonna jump off now and then we'll circle back, okay?
All right, Rachel, thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Talk to you soon. All right, Mr. Rigo, are you on? Can you hear me? There's no audio at all. There's no video. So let me um let me stop this since you can't speak right now.